Children, grandchildren, come quickly. Grandma Hannah is going to tell you a story, and it's something that I witnessed myself all those many years ago. I was 10 years old, and my brother James and my household in the city of Jerusalem had heard that Jesus was going to be coming into town. We were so excited, and our hearts were just full of joy because he was coming to see us and to visit us, and so we could hear his stories and perhaps even a miracle. So on that day, my mother and father, my brother James and I were so excited, and she said, "He's coming into town now. You better hurry. Here's a palm." So we grabbed our palms and we ran out, and we saw him coming, riding into Jerusalem on a colt. Oh my goodness, would he even recognize me? I'm so small, but can he see me? But maybe. So we squirmed our way up to the front, and here he is. Oh my goodness, how handsome he looks. How handsome he is. So then I go run out, and as I put my palm down and looked up, there he was. I reached down and he touched my hand. Oh my goodness, my heart leaped with joy and I was filled with the Holy Spirit. Oh my goodness. And we watched him, my brother James and I, grinning from ear to ear. We ran back to the house to tell my mother and father what an experience that I had. Hannah, at 10 years old, touched the hand of Jesus. Oh, what joy, what excitement, and what conversation at supper that night. So a few days later, we went to bed, my heart still leaping with joy, and still waiting for an opportunity to talk and see Jesus again. Well, late that night, we heard a knocking at their door. Oh my God, we woke up with a start and crawled over to the loft, and I could hear my father at the door answering, talking to someone, and I heard the name Jesus. And we listened, James and I, trying to hear what was being said. Who could bring us such terrible news to make my mother cry out? Oh my gosh. I couldn't go back to sleep. So fitful it was, scared, wondering what in the world had happened. And then, somehow, the next morning, I overslept. Oh my gosh, I overslept. I dressed really quickly. I ran downstairs to see what the matter was. And James was the only one at the table. And he looks at me and he says, "Hannah, they have arrested Jesus." What? Oh, it's got to be some mistake. It can't be. This can't be happening. My father and mother want us to meet him at the plaza. So off we ran. And all these people at the plaza, soldiers on their horses, all around milling. And I thought, oh my goodness, we found mother and father standing there. And I looked up and I asked, I said, "What's going on? What's happened? Where's Jesus?" Suddenly, "You there, are you Christians too?" the soldier yelled at us. And I, so frightened, I went behind my father. "No, sir. She was just asking what was wrong with Jesus and what happened." Off he went. Father says, "James, you better take your sister home. It's too dangerous here." So we went with heavy hearts back to our house. And we waited. And we waited for hours on end. Suddenly, we hear people coming up our street. And we run to the door to see what's happening. And we see soldiers on horses and people coming up. And then I see Jesus. "James, they have found him guilty. What have we done?" Tears rolling down my eyes. I'm standing there watching. And I watch Jesus with his cross coming up. "My Lord, what have they done to you?" My heart is so heavy. And I see him. And then he stops. And he looks over as if he's adjusting the cross on his shoulder. Tears rolling down my face. I'm standing there. And I see his eyes, and he looks at me, and it's full of love and compassion. Once again, my heart is full of joy, and I'm filled with the Holy Spirit. And I'm crying, and suddenly I felt these arms encircle me, and I heard a whisper in my ear, "This is my son. I have called him home. You will see him again." I looked around. No one was close to me, but I felt these arms. I stood up tall, wiped my tears, picked up that cross, and I vowed that I would tell his story until he calls me home. So now, grandchildren, that is my story. But there is more to this wonderful journey, and we will travel it together.